I served in the United States Marine Corps for 4 years. One of the things I'm proudest of, the most important part, I think, of the Trump doctrine in foreign policy is you don't commit America's troops unless you really have to. But when you do, you punch, and you punch hard. I think that's the way that you respect America's brave men and women who are serving. Now, let me say something about...
When you say that, does that, like, for example, how President Trump beat the caliphate? It was overwhelming force, and it was done pretty fast.
How President Trump beat the caliphate, beat ISIS, which people said literally couldn't be done, and he did it in a matter of months. But also Iran, Sean. A lot of people recognize that we need to do something with Iran, but not these weak little bombing runs. If you're going to punch the Iranians, you punch them hard, and that's what he did when he took out Soleimani. By the way, that action, people said that it would lead to broader war. It actually brought peace. It actually checked the Iranians and slowed them down a little bit. But let me just say something about this Iran issue, because maybe the most important diplomatic breakthrough of the Trump administration was the Abraham Accords. If you want to check Iran, the way to do it is to, one, withdraw their oil money, which of course Joe Biden's been bad about, but you've also got to enable the Israelis and the Sunni Arab states to work together and actually provide a counterbalance to Iran. Joe Biden has done nothing. You have the infrastructure there, sitting there, to weaken Iran, to strengthen our ally Israel. Joe Biden's done nothing with it. Donald Trump would reinvigorate it. And here's the problem, Sean, is Joe Biden has made it harder and harder for Israel to win that war. You want two things to happen. Number one, you want Israel to get this war over, and as quickly as possible, because the longer it goes on, the harder their situation becomes. But second, after the war, you want to reinvigorate that peace process between Israel, Saudi Arabia, the Jordanians, and so forth. What Biden has done is the worst of all possible worlds. He's prolonged the war, Israel's war, to actually take out Hamas, but in the process, he's made it harder for us to really move towards a sustainable peace.
Let's talk about Ukraine. You've been a critic of President Biden's policies. What should the policy be?
Well, very simple, Sean. We have to point this out. Russia would not have invaded Ukraine if Donald Trump had been president. Everybody agrees with it. Even a lot of my Democratic colleagues privately agree with that. But here's the issue, Sean, is we've now spent $200 billion. What's the goal? What are we trying to accomplish? Is there a risk of escalation into nuclear war? Because there is when you have a buffoon running foreign policy, and we've got a lot of them right now in Washington, D.C. I think what President Trump has promised to do is go in there, negotiate with the Russians and Ukrainians, bring this thing to a rapid close so that America can focus on the real issue, which is China. That's the biggest threat for our country, and we're completely distracted from it.